Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of... Am I still going with Ivan? Or the Ivan Show? I'm just going to go with both for now. Maybe Ivan, maybe the Ivan Show. Probably just both. Well, thank you to everyone who's watching on Facebook. When I release this video, I get quite a few views on there, which I'm really appreciative for, and a few comments. So thank you very much for that. Truly grateful. I have to really be conscious of not saying because every time I'm editing, I was about to say again. I go And school tried to stop you from saying when you give speeches. That's an interesting point because it's leading into the segue, which is the segue into today's episode, which is about a somewhat controversial topic because I know that I have I said it again. A little bit controversial because I know that I have a few teachers that are friends as well as a few teachers that are on my Facebook page. In fact, a little bit of a fun fact for you, I was actually enrolled in a Masters of Education at one point until my heart broke because it wasn't really what I wanted because I had to stay true to myself and I didn't believe in the actual degree that I was doing. As I was saying, it's a segue into today's episode, which is a little bit controversial, but it is about the current state of the education system. And the reason why I am so passionate about it is because I'm a big fan of education and a big fan of learning. In fact, I'm always learning and I encourage people to learn all the time. So if you haven't learned anything new for a while, get the plasticity of your brain molded and start taking some stuff in, because keeping your brain active and learning a lot, I believe keeps you youthful. It also expands the skill set that you have. It expands your horizons. It allows you to, I guess, learn about things in life that, let's be honest, school just doesn't teach. So my intention is to keep this like no more than 5 minutes long, so I'm gonna do my best. So yes, the education system. Before I go on to my rant, I just want to say that if you're a teacher, this is nothing personal to you. I respect you. I respect the work that you do. Believe me, as a parent, I can appreciate that having a classroom full of kids and then probably also teenagers, because I haven't got teenagers yet, but I'm assuming they're just as challenging, can be difficult at times. So I truly respect you and I truly respect the profession you have, but I'm actually talking about the system itself in school, the school system at its current state today. I consider myself a learned man. I mean, I've done a little bit of studying myself, maybe too much. I respect the profession, so don't take it personal. But the school system today I believe, is truly failing our young kids and our younger generation. It's truly failing, I guess, the students that are going into it. And the reason why I say that is for a few things. One, it really isn't reflective of the way the workplace really is. When you go into the real world, deadlines are a lot stricter. If you don't meet a deadline, the outcome of that is a little bit different to what the outcome would be in school. In the real world, everything has a link to some sort of monetary output. So everything's commercial. Everything that you do has to convert into an outcome, into a dollar. I truly believe, hands down, without an exaggeration, that everything that we learn that forms a foundation for everything that we have to then learn later in life happens up until grade 6 or year 6. Everything from 7 to 12 is just extra icing on the cake. The true foundation of learning comes from kinder to year 6. I think that's the most important time. And I'm going to say it, all of the testing programs and rating systems that schools are using by grading kids and seeing how their scores are coming to determine whether or not it's a reflection of the school is absolute hogwash. It's a load of shit. It doesn't work. I don't believe it works. Realistically, the stats that I've heard about, so I can't quote them right yet, but I've heard about them many times before. The stats tell you that all of this increased testing doesn't even improve the education system. It's not helping kids at all. We often give kids a bunch of homework outside of hours. We give kids an education system that isn't really reflective of the way life really is. There's not enough projects. There's not enough learning around things that are going to be translated into the real world. It's compulsory for kids to go off and learn subjects like history. Now, back when I was in school and I learnt about the Prime Minister or politics or history of the country or something like that, and you could actually regurgitate a lot of the stuff because it was quite stable-ish, kind of, back then. Like, I can't even keep up with politics these days. Like who's leading the country today? I just don't know. Because it changes too much. So how do we expect kids to learn that and learn within a system that's still teaching it the same way that I was learning it 20 years ago? I mean, I just don't see how the school system is conducive to learning today. But things like programming. Now, if my kid goes into school and isn't learning programming by kindergarten, I'm going to be scratching my head. Things like e-commerce, marketing and how to sell themselves. The only time I actually use Pythagoras theorem today is when I'm driving somewhere and I want to go through a shortcut. So I calculate in my head if this way is quicker than going this way, if that makes sense. So a lot of the stuff that I learned when I was in school just didn't really add value. Admittedly, because of the career path, or part of the career path that I chose to go down being science, I actually have to use a lot of that stuff. Although even that, you don't recall as much because you learn a lot of it on the job. So yeah, I'm going to keep it short. It's just a rant. I could probably go on a little bit more, but I just want to express the fact that I'm not really thinking that the education system today is probably the best to provide real life preparation for the newer generation. So I think it does start at home is the end message. Don't be afraid to get your kids on an iPad. It's okay if they ride their bike just a little bit less, because don't worry, by the time they're working, they'll be allowed to ride their bike in the office place, considering every millennial is opening up an office and has like segways and skateboards and bicycles and trees and freaking parachutes and shit coming from the roof. In a nutshell, look, if you're a teacher, totally respect you. I think that parents should be a little bit aware of the fact that the education first starts at home. Learning in school from 7 to 12 is not the be all and end all, and it's probably timely considering the fact that so many students are they're coming out of, or they're about to go into end of year exams. So it's not really the be all and end all. There is hope and light at the end of the tunnel, and the current state of the education system does really need a shake-up, and just throwing money at it is not going to help. It comes down to the system itself and making it translatable into what happens in the real world. A movie theatre has been charging $7.50 per person and selling about 400 tickets on a typical weeknight. After surveying their customers, the theatre estimates that for every 50 cents they lower the price, the number of moviegoers will increase by 35 per night. I got a headache already. How the hell does this relate to calculus? And to approximate the integral of 1 divided by x dx. Thanks for watching episode 4. Did I do it again? I am going nuts. If I said episode 3, it's actually episode 4. I don't know. It's episode 4. I hope you have a wicked day, a fantastic day, a fantabulous day, an awesome day, just an awesome day.